So happy to have you here and welcome, Joel. Tell us what you do.
Sure. So I am what you would call an expert in keeping customers from being on hold for too long. So I actually speak with prospects and clients about their experiences, their personal experiences, and on when they call into, either a healthcare organization and they're talking to the insurance company and they're having to listen to the on hold music and they're listening to whether or not they're the 20th person in line and how long the call is going to take. And sometimes they don't even have that. Sometimes it's just dead air. So in those instances, we have tools in our tool belt, so to speak, that address that issue of people hanging up, losing their place in line and getting frustrated with the insurance company or the healthcare organization. And we take the frustration out of being on hold when it comes to healthcare organizations.
I love it. You guys, she's such a superstar. She just did the perfect elevator pitch. I'm so curious, Jill. What was your elevator pitch before we met? Do you
So
remember?
actually, hang on a second. I've got somebody's next door making noise.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, let me tell you. She's going to tell you how different it was. I'm just curious if she still even remembers.
Well, my elevator pitch in the past was, well, we sell phones and voicemail and network and security and blah, blah, blah. Then after a while, people would kind of get glazed over and they would roll their eyes and go, okay, but what do you specialize in? And I'm, what do you mean? We do it all. That wasn't very successful. So we were at our wits' end. So when we attended the conference in Florida, we thought, let's see if there's somebody out there that has this, silver bullet or the secret sauce of how we change how we do business, or how we change how we do this pitch, or even what we do in our business in general, because you can't be a specialty organization and sell everything from soup to nuts. Mm-hmm. So when we attended the workshop, I was absolutely floored. And I thought, oh my God, I get it. I get it. Now, how do I do it? So I was literally, I think I attended the workshop myself and my business partner was there. And I basically kind of did the elevator pitch to him and said, oh my God, listen, we got to do this. We got to do this. Let's take advantage of this, because right now we're just flailing. And, and our sales reflected it. They were pretty anemic. So it was so dire that we were at the point of, okay, if we don't do something in the next 60 days, we will not be in business.
Right. And you were already kind of like over the several million mark, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we normally do, a decent year is when we do like 4 million, 5 million. Yeah. And at that point, we were like at 2 million.
Right.
Which was really, really anemic, especially considering the staff that we have, the overhead. So when we sat down with you, I thought, I think this could work. Let's give it a shot. Let's make sure we get buy-in from everyone. And after explaining it to the staff and explaining it to the other, to the business partner, they were kind of like, well, it can't hurt. So so we thought we'd just jump in and, full force and say, you know what, this is do or die. Let's go ahead and, be open. Let's absorb this. Let's listen to how we can do this, how we can develop a strategy around a specialization. So when I mentioned to you during several of our conversations of like, what do we do? How quickly can we get to being a specialist in a particular area? And the exercise that you had us do was kind of figuring out, what's a good niche, what's a good specialty. And I actually had contacts with several CIOs in our customer base, as well as some CIOs I didn't know. And I asked for introductions on LinkedIn and the whole like. And doing the actual very succinct interview with them about, what are the top 3 issues, what are their initiatives, what's their biggest heartburn, if they were able to address that, what would that dollar value look like? Is that something that's, open for consideration? And I got a couple of, yep. Some was like, yeah, well, those that said, yeah, I'd like to talk about that. We were able to take those discussions a little bit further, get face-to-face appointments, and actually discuss the issue, as well as let's address this with a particular tool. If we do this particular tool and you're able to, move that roadblock, is this of value to you? And, thank goodness that we listened and we did exactly do what we were supposed to do. There's still some other pieces that we're working on, but we actually were able to realize results in a short amount of time by actually sticking to the plan, sticking to, here's the niche. So the niche that we looked at after doing the workshop in Canada was, okay, so you you have healthcare, you have education, you have manufacturing. What has the biggest bang for the buck? Where you have traction, where you have, contacts. So we started looking at that and we thought, oh, healthcare. So it was so cool when we got together, and it was just very intense, the boot camp for that day.
Yeah.
We created an idea, the name of the company, how we were going to go to market, who we were going to target, how it was going to happen. We walked away and we kind of conked out on the plane because it was just so intense. But after it was done, it was literally, I went back to the office, flew back home. That next morning, it's like, okay, let's get that logo going. Let's develop the letterhead. Let's do this. Let's do that. The website, the phone number. I mean, it was just like go, go, go. It's like how to build a niche business in so many hours or so many weeks. It absolutely was a whirlwind. Once we were done, I was so pleased with, the logo that we created and the name and the presence and getting the message out there. So much so that our excitement talking with prospects kind of created this kind of this synergy with our prospects. And one particular customer that we were doing contact center stuff and phone stuff, and I started talking to them about, hey, I realize you guys have a contact center, and I know that I'm hearing some grumblings of your customers that are complaining about their hold times, complaining about how, do they have no staff, and it was always gruntled. They're like, oh my God, it would be great if we could do something about that. Well, a few months later, we got a PO, and I want to say that PO was like $500,000. And I was kind of shocked, but it's like, gosh darn it, this stuff works. So we got that, and that's still going. We're actually getting ready to go into, in a couple of months, it'll be year 2 of this whole engagement. So they're going to spend another $500,000 and keep going and rolling out to additional departments. So it was just one department where we did this, which was a large healthcare organization, healthcare insurance organization. The second opportunity was someone we kind of had a lukewarm relationship with, and we were just doing kind of support for them just on their PBX. Started talking to them about, hey, what do you guys think about XYZ? Tell me about the problems that you're having. I know you guys are trying to get headcount. What if we could put some technology in place to eliminate having to hire more people? That piqued their interest, and a few months later, another PO. So
awesome.
It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
So there's a couple of things I want to point out here. So first of all, Jill, people are wanting to know the name of your business.
On Hold Rescue. Okay. That is the niche.
That is the sub brand. That is the super niche. And what is the mother brand?
The mothership, or I should say, maybe it's the mothership, and there's a fathership. So the mothership is actually IntelliFlex Inc. We're based in Southern California, and we're a small staff of less than 10 people. Mm-hmm. Just a few months ago, we were recently acquired by a parent company called Telenet, who's based in Toronto, your fair city.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's still called IntelliFlex, a Telenet company. So next year we'll probably change our name, to Telenet, but we're still operating as IntelliFlex. So
got it. So the second thing that I want to point out is that you never even really thought about a super niche being an additional income stream. You just were so tired of the lack of growth and, not being able to capture people the way you usually were able to, I suppose.
Right. It's interesting when you think you have a handle on, okay, let's say you're a managed service provider. Okay, we do networks, we do Wi-Fi, well, you and what army? I mean, you and everybody else are doing the same thing. What's your differentiator? And you can say, oh, well, we have a great relationship. We have a great culture. So what?
Yeah.
You have to have secret sauce that speaks to an issue that's so specific that people go, oh my God, these are the guys that are, really good about helping people on hold.
Yeah.
How many people can say that? There's
Yeah.
not a lot.
How many people have that niche? Yeah. That you've met, that they've met.
Right.
The other thing that I want to point out is Jill was able to sell to her current clients with her new super niche. And she was able to use that as a hook and then cross sell other services. Did you guys get that? And that's going to be a potential of $1 million.
The one thing that I think is absolutely that everybody needs to take away from this is having a niche is your secret sauce. You do it better. You know it better than anyone else. You focus on it because of a story. There has to be a story behind that. Like we chose the on hold rescue because we saw what was happening in the marketplace, especially with healthcare, and and actually experiencing it personally. With my mother, I experienced it, and it was horrific. And I thought, what a perfect thing to do to address this market because no one's doing it.
Yeah.
And to actually be able to say, you know what, I've got this great relationship. I solved a problem for this customer. I'm going to have additional discussions about other things I see that are lacking in their environment.
That's
and it
awesome.
makes it absolutely easy because now you're the trusted advisor.
Yes, you are. So the other thing I wanted to say is Jill came all the way from California to Toronto for her VIP day. And the VIP day she's talking about is the strategy day, which is the accelerator program. And, like we did so much in that training or in that day that, literally everybody was like just drained. But yet what Jill did was able to implement it really quickly. That's Jill's thing. She's a really quick implementer. I am too. In any program that I'm in, I'm a quick implementer. So, but she got results. How many months after did you land your first contract after you figured out the niche?
I think we were there I know there was a little bit of snow on the ground. So, so we actually signed the $500,000 deal. That was like, I think that was in December.
Okay.
So we were there was it October?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was October. It was
October. Yeah. So that was December.
Yeah. So October, November, December, you guys 2 months. And that's we actually talked about that before. You're right. It's 2 months. So she came all the way from California for not even 24 hours.
That wasn't even 24 hours.
Yeah. And she went right back, I don't know, and then all the time, and she implemented it right away. Talk to me about that research phase. What did you think about that niche research?
It's sometimes people are intimidated about having conversations with CXOs because it's like, oh my God, they're the top of their field, and I'm intimidated. I want to ask them. If you come to them with, hey, listen, I really want to interview you because you are at the top of your field. It's like wink, wink. I just gave them a nice little compliment. They are more open to having a conversation because you're not selling. That's the last thing they want to hear is somebody selling to them. Hey, I'm doing this project for a particular purpose. I really want to pick your brain because I know you've been doing this a while. I want to pick your brain on something that we're taking a look at in our business that's going to help us going forward. They'll fall all over themselves to help you. Like, and of course people love to talk about themselves, but going through that exercise of tell me what's important, tell me what value it is, that's money right there. Yeah. Someone says, hey, yeah, we're having, security issues and we've already put aside, $1 million in our budget. That's like, thank you. You just qualified yourself for me.
That's right.
But also I can go to that next person and say, hey, I spoke with XYZ CIO at, XYZ company. And I reached out to him because I'm reaching out to people like yourselves, your peers, to find out some information because we're tweaking our business and we really want to learn from the experts. They will just volunteer information.
It's wonderful. It's all designed to be that way, and you did it exactly the way it was designed. So the two things that I wanted before I ask another question from Jill, what I would like to do is, if Jill's okay with it, and if any of you on either Zoom or Facebook have any questions for Jill, please type it in while we have our next few minutes of discussion, and then we'll say thank you to her. But I wanted to just point out that what Jill went through, so the research, the whole research that she did around the niche research is you guys did on night 2, but you did a tiny, tiny, tiny part of it. What Jill did was the one that is featured in the Nail Your Niche program, which is the 7-module program, which is part of the whole package that you will be buying if you go into the B2B magnetic marketer, which the card opened yesterday. And so you're able to register. The other part is that VIP day that we're talking about that she came in for. Now it's virtual because our borders are closed. Right. And it is worth $5,000 on its own. And it is the bonus if you pay in full until midnight tonight. Okay. So those are, and like that is, if you pay in full, there's a 10% discount, plus you get that VIP day alone. And just that alone by itself will accelerate your business, which is what Jill is saying. She came back, she did it all, and then she had it all, had her $500,000 in 2 months. Okay, so what advice do you have to give to people who are undecided about whether they should invest in this program?
Well, it depends on how hungry you are. How badly do you want it? How much do you want to increase? And I hate to sound like such a cliche, but we were at a point where we were looking at each other going, okay, so how do we tell the employees that they don't show up the next day? Yeah. It is, how badly do you want to not only maintain your business, but accelerate? It's a matter of, in the scheme of things, it's a drop in the bucket. Mm-hmm. When we look at the types of clients that we have, the kinds of deals that we could potentially have, the additional revenue that we could get, it is a drop in the bucket. Yeah. If you make an investment in yourself, and that's the way I look at it, it's making the investment in yourself, getting a leg up on your competition and figuring out, how can I make money, additional revenue, smartly? How do I do it intelligently without having to, I'm going to work more hours or I'm going to hire more people? No. Figure out what you can do that gives you biggest bang for your buck. Do it intelligently, and know that there are people that have done it before you. Yeah. And if anybody wants to contact me directly, by all means, I'll can give you my phone number. I will have a one-on-one with you, and I'll tell you the truth. It is in the scheme of things, it's just a tiny investment. So we put it on a credit card and say, hey, let's let it run. So right. Yeah, it actually is definitely worth it.
Thank you so much, Jill. And so for anybody who, the majority of people will be watching this on replay, Jill. So okay. We will definitely tag you on LinkedIn and put your information there. And for anybody who has a question, they could contact you. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. All right.
Such a pleasure.
Good luck, everybody. Happy selling.